What a mess. What a headache. So not worth it. Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare and sometimes self-care. So if that's your vibe, please consider hitting subscribe. And today I just want to share with you some products that didn't work for me. It's as simple as that. You know, I do get to try a lot of new skincare products, and you know, sometimes I do encounter some duds, some, you know, products that just I really don't like, and I gotta share my opinions with you. So that's what today's video is going to be. Before we jump into the products, I just really want to say that just because I had a bad experience with these products does not mean that they are A, bad products, or B, not going to work for you. Skincare is so incredibly individual, and there's all these different things that make up why a product may or may not work for us, and it just comes down to your own individual experience. So that's what this video is. It's me sharing my experience, and definitely know that like you may have a different experience with these products, and that is a-okay. That's the beauty of the skincare world. It's just very different for everyone. All right, let's jump right into the products. Give the video a big thumbs up. First up, let's talk about the Jumiso Super Soothing Cica and Aloe Serum. So I was really excited because I've known about this brand for a while, but I've just never had the opportunity to try anything from them. This was sent to me in a PR skincare box, and when I picked it up, I was like, oh yeah, Jumiso. And so I was like looking at the ingredients, because that's the first thing I do when anything, you know, either I'm making a purchase or something is being sent to me. Before anything else, I turn the box around and I look at the ingredients. And you know, I'm always looking for drying alcohols, fragrances, fragrant components, or essential oils. Those are kind of like the common culprits that tend to irritate my skin. And if any product has any of that in it, I won't actually use it at all. So we do have Centella in here and aloe. There's natacassicide. There's like 8 different types of hyaluronic acid. I mean, just from the ingredients, it sounds super hydrating. It seems like it's got that calming factor to it. And those are all things that I tend to gravitate towards and tend to really enjoy in serums and just in general skincare. So that's where my excitement was, you know, where it lied. I really do like the texture of the serum too. It's like a hydrating gel texture. It feels really nice on the skin. It's got great absorbency. If I had to get super picky, I might say it has a little bit of tack on top of the skin once it's dried down, but not really like a big thing for me, especially when it comes to a serum. That falls right in the middle of my skincare routine. So anything I put on afterwards is going to eliminate any type of tack, but I figured I would point that out. It's not the perfect texture, but it's pretty good. And I was really excited to try this out, and I used it for the first day, and I was like, like when I first put it on, I was like, do I feel something or do I not feel something? Like right on contact, I was just like, something's weird, but you know, maybe my skin is just a little bit sensitive right now. Maybe it's just like, whatever. I just put it on and I was like, I'll just see if something happens. And nothing really happened. There wasn't really any irritation or sensitivity right after applying it or the next day, but I just had felt like something. I couldn't put my finger on it. And then the next day I used it again. And I was like, is my skin just looking a little bit more inflamed? Is it looking a little bit more red? And so that's what my experience was with this. These are products that didn't work for me, and I think that the biggest theme in any video where I say something didn't work for me, it's most likely due to sensitivity. It's most likely due to my sensitive skin and how picky my skin can be. And that's exactly what happened here. I was like, look, what's going on here? This serum is the only new thing that I added in. All of a sudden, my skin is inflamed, it's red, it's if I keep going on with whatever I'm doing, whatever's causing this irritation, it's just gonna keep getting worse. It's just like building on top of itself. So I was like, all right, let me do a little bit more of an ingredient deep dive here. Let me see. And you know, the ingredients list can only tell us so much. Oftentimes it comes down to formulation and how everything is working together. But one of the notable things about this ingredients list that I noticed before I started testing it is just the amount of ingredients that are in this serum. That is not like inherently a bad thing, but when you have sensitive skin, it can make, you know, finding what irritated your skin a lot trickier, right? So there's a lot of extracts in here, but I did notice 2 that were probably the culprits here. One is cinnamon bark extract and the other is marjoram extract. Now, these are both considered antioxidants. They are plant extracts that do have skincare benefits, but on top of their antioxidant benefits, they also do offer some fragrance. They have fragrant components to the extracts, which can cause sensitivity on those who are sensitive to fragrant like compounds. So that is my suspicion here, because I've had issues with essential oils in the past. Sometimes fragrance has been an issue for me. Individual skin aside, right, there's some nice texture stuff going on here. I think this is a good price point for a serum. I think it still has potential for people who don't have sensitivity like I do, but my one criticism on this formula would be, don't market this towards sensitive skin and being super soothing and calming to irritated skin when it contains ingredients like this, right? That's always going to be my call out to a formula that is pushing itself as a calming serum. It's just like, don't include these potentially, like, sensitizing ingredients. Don't include so many plant extracts. Don't push everything into the formula. Really, if you want to do something that is for sensitive skin, really think about sensitive skin, because it is such a hassle to try and figure out what plant extract bothered my skin in this formula. Maybe I got it right, maybe I didn't, I don't know, but it's kind of stressful. And when you do have sensitive skin and you're not like a skincare tester like me, it's just so much easier to just not even like invite that into your life. So that's my biggest criticism of this serum. But if you don't have sensitive skin, you might like this. Like it might work for your skin, but my biggest criticism here is those potentially irritating extracts in a sensitive skin serum. Next up is the One Thing Centella Asiatica extract. Now, I actually did feature another product from One Thing just about a year ago in a similarly themed video about products that didn't work out for me, and that was their mugwort or their Artemisia extract. So One Thing, if you're not familiar with this brand, this is an indie Korean brand that focuses in on one thing. They have a line of extracts that are like single extract, like essences, meaning they're only focusing on one star ingredient to get the job done. So, what I always say about these products is, trust me, they are shelf stable. It's not just Centella. There is water. There's some preservatives in here. This is not going to go moldy on you in a week. Like, don't worry. This is a stabilized product, but there's not going to be any other humectants like glycerin or panthenol, or maybe adding in like a helper ingredients like niacinamide, an aloe, or madecassoside. That actually sounds like a nice essence. They're really just using a high quantity of Centella, which is great for soothing and calming the skin. It can help to reduce acne. It's got some well-aging benefits. It's a strong antioxidant. So, why not? Centella is such a great ingredient. Why not put tons of it onto your skin in a highly concentrated product? And that's what One Thing is about. Now, as you can't just put the Centella leaves into the essence and call it done, right? In order to get Centella into your product, you have to extract it. Like, you have to extract the essence of Centella in a solution, usually of water or maybe even denatured alcohol. This extract is definitely been my high suspicion, let me put it this way, is that it's been extracted in denatured alcohol. And the reason I say this is because I can actually smell it on the product. When you smell this, it has a very strong herbally smell to it, which makes you think, hey, there's a lot of Centella in here. And like, no doubt, there's a good amount of Centella in here, but just underneath that like scent profile is the lingering smell of drying alcohol, indicating there's a good amount of that in here as well. It's never going to show up on the ingredients list because it has not been separately added into this extract. Now, extracting the Centella in a solution of alcohol is not really a huge red flag. Actually, denatured alcohol is a really good method for extracting a high concentration of whatever it is you're trying to extract. Like, it's actually really good for that. And you can see there is a lot of Centella in here based off of this deep amber color and the herbally scent of this, right? There's definitely a lot of Centella in here. I think the flip side to alcohol getting a high concentration, especially if you're using a lot of alcohol, is that I think that it's just like a cheap and fast method. While you're going to get a lot of Centella, I think that denatured alcohol tends to extract it a lot faster than, say, a water-based extraction would. You're going to get a lot more, a lot quickly, and like cheaper, because like time is money. I'm basing this off of some of the other essences, single extract essences that I love, that really belabor the point about how long it takes to extract. They go drip by drip. It's a really long, tedious process. And with that very long, tedious process comes a higher price tag, because it's a higher quality essence, not just from the ingredients where it's being sourced, but also how it's being extracted. This is not a very high costing essence. This is usually hovering at like $20 or lower. So even though there's a lot of Centella in here, it hasn't been done in a very, I'm going to say it, not in a very high quality way. It really hasn't been. And I think that's why, you know, you get a lot of Centella along with a lot of alcohol in here. And that's why this product didn't work for my skin. And that's why the Artemisia essence I reviewed last year also did not work for my skin. This was my suspicion about the entire line of One Thing extracts, is that most of the ingredients that they're using across their line have probably been extracted in this method, and you're getting trace amounts of that, or more than trace amounts of that, in their products. So for me, with sensitive skin particularly, I cannot tolerate drying alcohol in my skincare products. This was obviously a problem. As soon as I put it on, I was like, nope, I can feel this. Like, I can feel like the irritation happening already. And it was really bad. It was really bad. And I actually was even doing like a half and half situation. I was doing one side of my face with like one thing, and then I did one side of my face with a different Centella extract, because I did a this or that episode, including this product. And it's just like this one side of my face, like by the afternoon, was like, it was so red. It was so irritated. It was starting to feel really dehydrated and tight and just like dried out. And the other side was just like hanging out, and it was fine. I'm like, okay, there's a problem with this product and my skin. And it really does come down to the alcohol content. The trace amounts that are in this product are more, like I said, more than trace amounts that are flaring my skin up. So I bring this up as if you're somebody who is sensitive to alcohol, this is probably not for you, and probably their line of products may not be for you. If you're somebody who does not have like very sensitive skin, you've used alcohol in your skincare products, I think actually you're gonna like this, because I have to be honest with you, I am so in the minority of not liking this product. This product has so many rave reviews across the internet, here on YouTube. Lots of influencers really love this product. I just can't get into it. And I really wanted to, when this line was like kind of first debuted and kind of hit the scene last year. I think I even made a video talking about like how excited I was about this. I was like, this is my Valentine. I'm crushing on this year. Not only like the concept of the brand I find interesting, the ingredients, you know, across their line that they're using are fascinating. The packaging is like very like sleek looking. Like, they really sold me on this. There was a lot of hype around this brand. I really bought into it. But at the end of the day, what's inside the bottle is what matters. And for my skin, again, my experience, it's just not a match. But a lot of people do love it. So, you know, I really want to offer that other perspective, because when it comes down to it, this is about drying alcohol. And that's definitely going to be a flare for some people, and it's not going to be a flare for other people. But I just wanted to say, you know, I changed my mind on this brand. Like I said, I bought into the packaging. I bought into the aesthetics. And at the end of the day, you know, the packaging isn't really all that exciting. It's just a label on a plastic bottle. It looks better in pictures than it does in real life. And yeah, it just didn't really live up to my expectations. Unfortunately, I did give it a second chance, and it didn't change my mind. I want to talk about the Isntree Green Tea Fresh Cleanser. Now, I actually tried this back at I want to say it was the end of 2021, and I used it a couple times. I was like, this is not for me, and then I just kind of like chucked it, you know what I mean? I just like put it in the corner and kind of forgot about it. So you've actually never heard me talk about this before, and that's because I just didn't really like it. I mean, this review is going to be very quick and simple. This is a cleanser that comes in at a pH of 5.5. It does not contain any drying alcohols, fragrances, or essential oils. It's definitely something that you would think on paper would be sensitive skin friendly. But really when it comes down to it, using this gel cleanser that has some little bits of green tea in it, which is like a nice little addition, it just kind of left my skin feeling kind of dry. Just a little bit stripped. Not in like a terribly like, oh, my skin, where did all the moisture go? But it just left it feeling a little bit dry and tight. And mama, don't play with that. You know what I mean? Like with sensitive skin, being a little bit more on the dry side, anything that just feels a little bit off for my skin, I'm not gonna like keep trying to make it work. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly how I feel about this cleanser. It checks out on paper, but on my skin, it just doesn't quite check out. Now, the green tea line from Isntree is definitely geared towards oily skin types. And I always try to mention that in my reviews of any of the products in this line, because this is a line I super respect and really like, but I also understand that not every product in this line is really geared towards my skin, which is more combination. And like I say, sometimes leaning a lot more on the dry side than on the oily side. This is just more of a case of like not being quite right for my skin type, but it also kind of opens up a broader conversation about, you know, products that check out on paper, but maybe just still don't work for your skin. And that's like, oh, it's so frustrating, right? With skincare where you're just like, I know every ingredient that works and doesn't work for my skin. I've nailed down my skin type. I've nailed down like the reviewers and like influencers who I super trust or who have really similar skin types to me, and like it still didn't work. That's just what skincare is like sometimes. Your skin has so many different elements that go into making something work or not work for your individual situation. And like I said, this product opens up that conversation because on paper, minus the excessive sebum issue, I'm like, it's 5.5. It doesn't have any of those irritating ingredients that I always avoid. It must be like great for my skin. And while it wasn't bad, it still wasn't completely a match. So I wanted to bring it up, and I think because I didn't quite like it, I think that actually would make this a great cleanser for those of you who do have oily skin. Because I always have you in the back of my mind. I am still thinking about products for you guys out there too. This I think would be great for you. There's nothing wrong with this cleanser. I think it's actually a nice gel texture. It's got a good amount of green tea, which is more of a novel thing in a cleanser, but it's got a nice texture. It has enough foam, it's low pH, enough foam that it feels like it's really getting in there effectively, cleansing your skin, rinses away cleanly. And I think for those with more oil, it'll be gentle and non-stripping. Those on the drier side, this is just not for you. Next, I want to talk about the Versed Guards Up Daily Mineral Sunscreen. This is a broad spectrum. It offers SPF 35 protection. It is a Western skincare product. And it's actually interesting, only using zinc oxide for the filter. I've come across a few of these lately where they're only using zinc, which I think checks out fine. You know, it definitely is a great stable filter that offers UVB, UVA 1 and 2 protection. And yeah, it's a very broad spectrum and it's got a very stable filter. So I don't see anything wrong with that. You can definitely get protection with just zinc. It's just different because a lot of times the formulas will be zinc and titanium dioxide. So just interesting. And what was also interesting about this sunscreen is the fact that it has a little bit of tint to it, which I've been really curious about these types of mineral sunscreens because, as you know, mineral sunscreen is gonna leave you looking pasty, right? It's gonna have that white cast kind of look. And my like skin is just like on the cusp of like where I can usually get away with it, but like it can make me look very washed out and like kind of sickly looking. Like kind of it's not even like a white cast. Sometimes it's like a gray cast is what I call it. It just it's a little bit off of my skin tone, and obviously becomes a much bigger headache when you are blessed with a lot more melanin, right? So it's just like, ugh. So I've been seeing a lot of companies adding a little bit of like what they call universal tint to their mineral formulas to kind of like even out or neutralize the white or that gray cast. So I've always been kind of curious about how do these work and how well do they neutralize that white cast. Of course, I can only speak for my skin tone, but generally they seem to work out okay. And on application, as you see, it kind of comes out with a little bit of like a salmony orange kind of color. And on my skin, that seems to be okay. That seems to work nicely, but it does feel like it oxidizes over time because like throughout the day, it's like it gets a little bit more orange, which is like... like gray cast is one thing, but like that orangey oxidized look is like a whole other thing. Like they're on like opposite ends of a bad spectrum, if you know what I mean. I did notice that this crystallized a little bit. I've had this happen with other mineral sunscreens, especially tinted ones, where it feels like there's hard little sand particles in it, which makes applying it to your face painful. So this has that. You see why I didn't like this. Yeah, so the tint didn't really work out for me. It has like, yeah, particles that hurt on your skin, and it has like a really unpleasant feeling on the skin. It's got a nice spread to it, but it does have, you know, sometimes I'll use the word emollient or moisture when I'm talking about textures, and I'm trying to convey that it has like a moisturizing feel. Maybe it's a little bit thicker on your skin. This is just straight up greasy feeling right out of the bottle. Like it doesn't feel emollient or moisturizing or comforting. It just feels kind of greasy. You know, it just has that like weird slip to it that it just doesn't feel good. So it's just kind of greasy. It's kind of thick. And once it is on your skin and once it's absorbed, it's that type of sunscreen that really feels like a thick layer on your skin. Like it's almost suffocating your skin. It's almost making your skin kind of hot. So there's so many strikes against this sunscreen. I just think it's so inelegant. From the texture, the base formula alone, just from the texture, it's inelegant. You can't cover that up with a tint. You know what I mean? And then the tint itself isn't even elegant because it oxidized on me. That may be different for other people, but it just didn't work for me. And then the formula itself crystallized. I think that's the right word. It got those hard particles in it. I don't think that was their intention. There's something with the formula where it broke down and we got like that crystallization, which makes applying this a nightmare. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say about it too, about being inelegant, right, is you've got this on your face. You've got the kind of like this tint on your face. It can transfer to your clothing. You know, it can get on like your collars. When you like blow your nose, it's like all over the tissues. You have to be like really careful because it will just transfer. And I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that it is kind of sitting really like just on top of your skin and never really settling down, and that greasy factor. It's like makeup that's not been set. What a mess. What a headache. So not worth it. So did not work for me. Yeah. Not a fan. So thank you for letting me share my experience with these products with you. And I am curious, is there something you've tried recently that just didn't quite work out for you? Let us know in the comment box below. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see some more skincare reviews and content from me, please do consider hitting subscribe if you have not already. I do release a lot of new videos and YouTube shorts throughout the week, so do consider turning on notifications too so you're never out of the loop when the new content drops. I hope you are healthy, happy, and safe, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.